Hello. I am so sorry. Espérate, let me just fix this camera angle. I had to pull out my I'm a Survivor pants on. Remember Destiny Child? I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I don't want to get demonetized, so I'm not gonna sing the rest of the song. I honestly need to start making money on YouTube. Really, I do need to start making some serious money on YouTube because, where do we even start? I can't believe, like, I've been so nervous to come on camera and talk to you guys. I've been recording videos nonstop, trying to like get a whole bunch of content pre-recorded because the next couple of days are going to be intense. They're going to be rough. And I've been thinking about it. And honestly, I have to have a real honest conversation with myself and look at what I have right now and look at what's going on and how I am going to be able to survive. And that's on period. I know that what I have to say might not be pop. I'm sorry, they keep messing with my thing. So I know that what I have to say is really a hard pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to swallow that pill. And that's just reality. That's why I took off the comments, because I can't keep listening to what anybody else has to say about my life, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to live it, honestly. So let's be real. I've been here for 2 weeks, right? Today, I was supposed to check out. I wasn't prepared for that mentally, so I extended it 1 day. Now, through booking that on the cheapest option through Priceline, I was able to secure the room for $56 a night. But with taxes and after all these servicing fees, the room came out to be $76. Boom, just like that, gone. Money that I haven't gotten back in. I've been applying to a lot of jobs. And here's the whole thing, and this is another reason why, you know what? I've been applying to a lot of jobs. But this move wasn't a move that was planned. I had to move because my safety was compromised. And yet to this day, there has been no justice for that, okay? To this day, that profile is still up. To this day, the person who has done that gets to sleep easy, okay? That's the truth. So this was an unplanned move that I had to make for my safety. And I was forced back out there. And because the numbers of COVID are going up, I was able to secure a job in my last location like this because I was a waitress. I need something that's going to give me more financial security. These hotel rooms are expensive, okay? For 2 weeks, $827, boom, because of all these servicing fees and taxes. They hit you with the servicing fees and taxes. There's a state tax, a room tax, and cleaning tax, like all these taxes. And you're like, oh, okay, so now it's $100 on top of that. And that's just the truth. And then Airbnb on top of that, those prices with the cleaning fees and all the fees that you have to pay, they're competing right neck to neck, honestly. And I'm on a limited amount of funds, really. And I'm running out. And every dollar that's coming out and nothing's coming in, to me, puts me in worry mode and survival mode. Honestly, I know that I make the struggle try to seem like I try to downplay it, but I'm no stranger to having to survive, okay? I go ahead and I make bougie struggle meals, but that comes from a place of survival, you know, honest. No. Ugh. Why does the universe not want me to be great? So back to what I'm saying. The rooms are turning out to be expensive, and I'm trying to get a job that's going to offer me more financial security. Realistically, to rent a room and rent these apartments, even to rent a room right now in our current market, they're asking for references, they're asking for receipts, and they're asking for you to be able to prove that you'll be able to pay this amount. On top of that, with COVID, people are being very particular, and I am a social media influencer. I do have my life here on YouTube. So I have to be aware that that might possibly able come out and might be able to affect my living situation. I have lived in a lot of different places, and I realized that when you live under someone else's roof, it doesn't matter. You don't know what household you're walking into, okay? And right now, I need security. I can't keep jumping around. This is not a healthy way to live, you know? And just mentally, physically, spiritually, is just not a healthy way to live. My truck is old. My truck has accumulated a lot of miles substantially. Since I've left the camper, I went 23 hours, then I went 16 hours, then I went 14 hours, then I went 13 hours, then I went 6 hours, then I went 6 hours back. All in the span of leaving the camper, and I have yet to get an oil change. I have yet to change my license plate and all my tags because I haven't had a stable place to live. These are other things that I'm accumulating, money that has to eventually be spent. On top of that, like my truck, it has a lot of like problems going on. Right now, my truck, when I start it, it lags to start and then it idles extremely hard. Like it shakes violently when it's idle. And when it's idle, even at the red light, I have to turn the car with the gear and put it in park until the light changes so that it doesn't idle so hard. I went to go get the truck looked at. Honestly, the mechanic looked at me. He said, look, the amount of miles that's on your truck and what's going on with it, you might as well put that money into something new. So then that's that, you know? So I have a lot coming up against me. I went to go to try to get food stamps. I went to the office. Because of COVID, it's by appointment only. So they gave me a number to call. So I called the number, had to wait on the call list for like hours, all right? Because they were busy. I go and I try to do an application. They're telling me, where are you? I said, currently I'm in a hotel. I have it for 2 weeks. They tell me, oh, well, your case isn't considered an emergency food stamp case because technically you're not homeless. You're in a hotel, even if it's only for 2 weeks. So you're going to have to apply regularly. And then we're going to send you a letter in the mail. And I'm like, well, I don't know where I'm going to be after these 2 weeks. She's like, well, we need an address to send it to so that, because there's paperwork that you're going to need to fax over since this is just a regular case. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, what would it take? And they were like, well, you know, like if you were pregnant. And I'm like, that's considered an extreme case. And I'm like, okay. I try to apply for unemployment again. I have to apply for unemployment in the state that I last had my job. So I go to apply for unemployment. They're telling me that I can't continue with my paperwork because my social security don't match. So now I'm on the phone with unemployment. Hours, getting the runaround. Limited service because of COVID. Limited service because of COVID. Do it online. But I'm trying to do it online and it's saying that my social security is wrong when I have my physical social security. So then I'm countlessly hours every single day spending on the phone trying to get in contact with unemployment. I finally get in contact with somebody. She tries to do my application online. The phone cut off. I call again and it's countless and I'm still trying. But time is running out and being in these rooms are costing me too much. And my truck is my lifeline. All my stuff is still in the back of the truck. It's been raining on and off. My stuff, my clothes all have mold, honestly. They're all soaking wet. All my things back there that aren't in Tupperware are all soaking wet. But I had to come to the terms with that's just things. That's collateral damage because realistically, to get a storage unit, I don't even have a safe place to live. Where can I get a storage unit? Just 2 weeks ago, I was in a different state. And then just 2 weeks before that, I was in a different state. And then just 2 weeks before that, I was in a different state. I've been around so many times. How can I securely, safely get a storage place? And then on top of that, that's another expense. I've been trying to get a hatch for the back of my truck, right? To cover it, one of those metal ones. And I've been going on the Facebook market. But all these sellers are like, oh, do you have somebody to come help you install it? Because it's heavy. And I don't have anybody. And I'm like, could I pay you maybe a little extra? Oh, that's why we're getting rid of it. We kind of don't want to deal with it. It's sort of like you come pick it up and you handle it. All these people are telling me the same thing. And I'm like, yo, can anybody have mercy? You know what I'm saying? They probably look at whatever. And I don't know, but I just feel so frustrated because I'm like, why can't I just get help? You know, like, why can't I get physical help? Why can't you just help me, sir, or ma'am, or something, you know, like cut me a little bit of slack, you know, but it is what it is. They want to sell it as is. And that's another expense, you know, but that's something that maybe could protect my stuff a little long term for the meanwhile. And I know what you guys are thinking. Michelle, why don't you go to the shelter? It's time that I have an honest conversation with you as a trans woman, my experience with the shelters, okay? I'm traumatized about the shelters. I'm going to be honest with you. I am traumatized, okay? I was 15 when I went to my first shelter. And I lied about my age. And it was a shelter that you had to wait for on a line to get a bed for the night. To get a bed, a hot meal, and you had to be there at a certain time. And there was a cutoff time. So if you didn't make it past that time, or if they ran out of beds, they will give you an address to another location that might possibly have a bed. And then you just had to try every night to get a bed. Now, I was underage living out in the streets, so I had to lie about my age. So I told them that I lost my ID. I didn't look the way I look now. So I wasn't able to get into women's shelters. So I had to go to a male shelter. And the shelters are so underfunded. And that's what nobody talks about. They're so underfunded that they just put you in a room with a whole bunch of people and they leave you unsupervised. So a lot of people, there's a lot of different walks of life, and there's a lot of people under the influence of different stuff. So I remember sleeping and being woken up by somebody who was trying to cover my mouth and take advantage of me. And that was the first time I learned quickly that you're not even safe at night. So I worked really hard to try to be passable, or what society deemed as passable, to look like, I guess, a cisgendered female. And I tried to get into the female shelters, and I had to lie about my ID because my ID didn't say female back then. Growing up, I've been in the shelter system. Honestly, the only time I wasn't in the shelter was for 4 years out of my life after the age of 13. That's it. Every year of my life, I've wound it up in a shelter because I couldn't afford to keep up with where I was staying because my job was so insecure. I wasn't making enough money on my own. So once I was, I guess, passable enough, I had to lie about my ID to go under the radar so that I could have a place to live, you know, in the shelter. And I started going to the female shelters. But what people don't prepare you about the shelter system is that it's honestly cutthroat. You know, there's a lot of different walks of life. People have their own set of problems. They have their own things going on. And there's not enough help. There's not enough help. There's not enough like therapy or counseling. I checked into a shelter pre-COVID. And when I went to go speak to the social worker, she told me straight up, there's a group meeting, but you look like a nice girl. Don't tell your personal business because then everybody's going to talk about you and they're going to use it against you. It would be good if we could really help each other, but that isn't how it is. So you got to protect yourself in here. And she's like, I don't know, but I wouldn't leave anything personal around. We don't have locks on anything. We just give you one dresser drawer, and that's where you have to put your things. And I wouldn't leave anything personal. So take everything that's important to you with you, and everything that you don't mind losing, leave it out because it might possibly get taken and we can't be held liable because there's just so many of y'all. Straight up told me like that. So it's really tough in there. I've gotten my stuff stolen so many times. The first night that I left my situation and I stood in the shelter, the whole reason why I had to get outsourced to somebody else's house was because the woman who came home late for work, all of her stuff was stolen. And because I was the new girl, everybody was looking at me. The cops had to be called. There was this whole big fight about it. And to calm the situation, they outsourced me and put me to somebody else's house because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so much drama that goes on, and you live your life on edge, and then they do rounds. Nobody talks about that, but when you staying in a shelter, like, you don't get a restful sleep because every like 4 hours they come in and they have to turn on the light, make sure they do a count to see if everybody's there. So now every 4 hours you're being woken up. You're being woken up. Then you have to wake up at a certain time. Then you have to leave the shelter at a certain time. And then you can't come back into a certain time. And then it's just like, it's so much, you know? And back in the day, it was harder. It was harder for me back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because my ID didn't say female. So I had to keep my head low and run and try to stay under the radar. And a lot of these shelters, they don't have shower curtains. They don't have shower curtains for safety reasons. So now you're taking a shower and there's a possibility for like people to see you. And, you know, you being trans, you have to be careful when you take a shower and not to get caught or whatever, because once somebody finds out, then you become the enemy. I've been in shelters where people have found out that I was trans. And because when you're staying in a women's shelter, there's children there also. Because a lot of these women have children. I've dealt with a lot of times where women would find out that I'm trans and it would become a thing in the shelter. I don't feel comfortable, and I don't feel comfortable with my kids around. Like, I've heard they're molesters, you know, like I heard that they turn out that way because they got molested, and then they turn and they do the same thing. And I don't feel safe with my children around there, and I don't feel comfortable using the same facilities and using the bathroom. What if she's looking at me? And I just don't feel comfortable. And then it becomes like this whole big thing. Honestly, I'm telling you the truth. I'm just sharing my experience. So I have a lot of trauma with like shelters. And honestly, I'm just trying to avoid that as much as I can. So realistically, I have to think about what I have. My truck right now is my lifeline because once I'm able to secure a job, I got to be able to travel to that job. So I need to, I guess, preserve the truck as long as possible. I can't afford something new right now or something used. I can't afford something new because right now my truck has all my things. But I have to use what I have left smartly, you know, smartly. This is surviving at this point. So I'm gonna be living in my car. I've tried, but with everything being so uncertain, since I've left the camper, I can't really rely. And I thank you guys for all your offer, but honestly, like, unless I have legal documentation that could protect me, I can't take the risk no more. I need something certain. And until I can secure a job that will be able to sustain me, honestly, at least be able to get me into an apartment and be able to pay and have the enough money to not only survive, but to be able to live a decent life. What I have left is my emergency life fund. It's all I have. And I have to find a way to get my car in a decent enough shape. I have to get something to cover my stuff for long term. Like every dollar spent is just so insecure. And honestly, I've been thinking about just getting a Planet Fitness gym membership, investing in that so that I always have a place to take a shower. You know, my life has been so all over the place. And honestly, I just need to find some sort of structure. And I know that it's not ideal, but right now, I just don't want to deal with the possibility of me being trans coming out and then there being an issue, you know? It always turns out to be an issue, and I just don't want to go through that no more. I don't. I'm just tired of having to, like, have everything be so hard, you know? And I realized that I just honestly want a sense of, like, normalcy. I've lived in my truck before, and I know what I did wrong the first time. So I know my first thing I need to do with the money that I have, I need to get myself a winter coat. I need to get myself some thermal socks, and I need to find a way to insulate the car. I know that this isn't ideal, but I can't continue to, until I get a job that has something coming back in, I'm just losing out. And I'm scared. I'm gonna be honest, I'm just scared. I feel so honored and blessed that you guys came together, and I feel like I've disappointed y'all because y'all like, okay, the PayPal pool, like, you know, and I really wanted to get something new, but right now, like, van life is popular and they're hiking up the prices for, like, vans, and it's just too much money, and it wasn't enough money, and I had to tap into the PayPal pool for this and for the other room. And I'm going to have to tap into it again for the next room if I went into a next room. But right now, that's my lifeline. So I just need to conserve it as much as I possibly can. You know, people don't like to talk about this, but when you're in survival mode, you have to adapt to a different diet. You know, you guys see me as like, oh, you don't really eat meat. You can't eat meat when you don't have a stable place to live because things are perishable. Tonight is my last night here. I have a lot ahead of me, a lot of things that I need to do, a lot of prepping that I need to do to get the truck ready. But all the groceries that I bought, that mukbang that I'm doing to try to win $5,000, that competition, I'm going to be cooking all the food I have. I'm going to try to package everything that I have, and I'm going to eat as much as I can because I can't lose all of that, you know? And when you're out on the road and you don't really have a solid place to live, you don't have the luxury of having like hot food every day. So I'm going to have to adapt like a raw diet, being able to just learn how to sustain myself with fruits and vegetables and things that don't require heating, because I don't want to just live off of noodles, that's not a healthy way to live as well. Or just say, and eating out, that's going to eat up your money. So I thought about this, and honestly, until I have something solid that's able to support me in a way that I can really get on solid ground, I have to go into survival mode. I've already been in it, but now it's time to put it in high gear. And I'm still going to go after my dreams. I did videos when I was in the truck before, and I could do it again. And if I'm in Planet Fitness, I can do videos there in the locker room and record and upload. Maybe they have Wi-Fi. I don't know. Maybe I can park my truck in places that have Wi-Fi, and I'm still going to make the dream happen. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. You see? People sit here and they're like, girl, you do makeup, you do this and all this, right? This is my war paint. Like, your girl ain't going out without a fight, but I have to be realistic. I do. And you have to prepare for what possibly might happen. And if my truck gives out, that's like a slice to the artery. I'm going to really be bleeding out. So I have to use what I have left smartly. It's caused me to think about like what home really is. I've lived in a lot of different places. I've had a lot of different roofs over my head. And I was always seeking something that feels like home. I just wanted a home. But I'm realizing that home is really within yourself. Because if you allow materialistic things, outward things, become what defines you and what defines what home is. If I allow these four walls to define what home is to me, then when I have to let these four walls go, I'm going to be lost. And I don't have the luxury to be lost because I can't fall into that dark place. I have to persevere and I have to keep pushing forward. So home is within. I'm always home within myself. Because no matter where I'm at, I'm going to make wherever I'm at the best that it is. I make every situation that I'm in the best situation that it could be. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I still persevere and I still thrive and I'm not giving up. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm not giving up. This is just another bump in the road. But I'm going to get through it. And when I get to the other side and I have a platform that can possibly impact change, I want to talk about these issues. I want to talk about trans sensitivity, like just really implementing programs that can help people in the shelter systems. There's a lot of broken people. There's a lot of hurt people, and hurt people hurt people. And there's a lot of people that just don't have the education or the tools necessary to heal properly and really be successful. There's just not enough funding. There's not enough people caring, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody talks about the shelter horror stories and the trauma that you experience afterwards and the PTSD. I've never shared that story about that guy and what happened and how I had to leave that night. And I slept on the train that night. The security guard was asleep at the desk. I guess what I want to ask is, why is the system failing? Why is it failing us? Why is it that I have to learn how to make the best of my situation because there's no systems and laws in place worldwide to protect us? There's no justice, okay? Whenever I try to speak my voice on any platform, it gets silenced, it gets taken off, it gets muted. Whenever I try to defend myself and speak my truth to bring awareness on just the trans experience, I get silenced. But yet, the bad behavior gets praised and it gets put on a platform. Why is the system failing us? So, I did my makeup. I used my last set of press-on nails. And I'm going to cook this food. I'm going to record that video. I'm going to show y'all how to incorporate kimchi. And I'm going to put my heart and soul and everything that I have in there. Because at this point, I'm at the last inning. And it's all or nothing. And I am not going out without kicking and screaming. I did a Fenty beauty review. And I'm going to put that out also. And hopefully Riri can see that. And I'm going to continue on. And that's on period. And it don't matter if I'm here. It don't matter if I'm in my truck. It don't matter if I'm out in the street. It don't matter at this point. It don't freaking matter. Because I ain't giving up, man. I'm not. It's just not happening, man. It's not. I deserve to live and I deserve to thrive and I deserve to not struggle no more. Like, people just talk about the struggle and they're so desensitized to it. I see the way people treat homeless people all the time out in the street. People exploiting them. Taking videos like, look what I bought this homeless person. But yet you putting them on camera not knowing that this is a human being. I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed to have this platform. I'm so grateful and blessed that I don't care who hears it. If I could just bring awareness to one person about somebody else's experience of what's going on, then I've done what I needed to do. It's time that we bring awareness and a voice to what's going on and the injustice. It really is. Sorry, I'm not here doing dances and trying to sell y'all stuff. I'm here to tell y'all the truth. We gotta start, like, changing. We gotta start caring. We do. We need more love. There's too much hurt out here. It's too much hurt people. And we all, you know what kills me? You know what kills me? You know the miracle that it takes to create our life? Out of all the little swimmers, you were birthed into this life. So it is our divine right to live and thrive, not to survive and struggle. That's not fair. We are all equal. We were all born It doesn't matter where you're from, what you look like, what color you are. It doesn't matter. We were all born, period. Born, period. So we all should be treated equal, like human beings. Okay? Period. Why is it that only a select few of people get to go after and achieve greatness? Do not all of our lives hold value? Because last time I checked, we were all born. I don't know. I just don't get it. Hold on. I already extended my room.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must not been there.
No. It's okay. I didn't know if I had to call. I called because I called last night. And the lady told me to just go ahead and book with the original place that I booked it with.
Okay.
So I just did it online.
Okay. So then you might have to update your keys or something.
Okay. Can I come down a little later?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you. If there's any other problems, just feel free to call me. I'll answer.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. You're good.
All right. Life, okay? We got to keep pushing. So I'm going to still record that video. I'm going to do my recipe. I'm going to do my mukbang. And I'm going to enjoy my last night here. I'm going to record as many videos as I can. And I'm going to get the truck ready. And I'm going to make it happen. Okay? And this is going to be my living testament to when I make it. Okay? So, MeeShee, I know you don't like to watch your videos. And I'm talking to you, girl, right? Because, hold on. I need you to peep it. I mean, the makeup, the earrings, the lipstick. It's on point. You are a bad B, okay? Wait, Bremen Rock be saying bitch. You are a bad bitch, okay? Matter of fact, you're not a bitch. You are a queen, all right? So, look at this video as a living testament to all that you have overcome, okay? You're going to laugh about this later. You're going to be like, oh my God, I was such a hot mess back then. Like, can you believe this, babe? Like, do you remember? Look how far I've come in such a short time. Like, I feel so humbled. And then I'm going to be able to be like, when I do my house tour, oh my God, I cannot wait. I'm going to have my fridge so organized and it's going to be full. And I'm going to be able to be like, okay, guys, look at my house tour. First of all, let's go straight to the fridge. And I'm going to be able to show you like a full fridge and stuff and whatever. And it's just going to be a good time. And it's going to mean so much more to me because I've been through this and I'm still going to fill my life with joy. I'm not going to allow this situation to define me. I'm not. No. I'm truly blessed and grateful for everything that I have. I am not out in the street. I'm not. And my life is abundant. You know what's the one thing I've learned to appreciate about everything I've been through? It makes me that much more grateful for everything that I have. Okay? The House of Realness gifted me the Fenty skin, the lipstick. I mean, it would be a disservice to not see my life as truly blessed. It would be like a slap in the face. It would be like, girl, okay, so I got you the lipstick for nothing because you're not even grateful? No, I am grateful and I'm using it and it looks amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little cute behind and chef it up in this kitchen, record those videos, and get ready to embark on my next adventure. And on that note, bendiciones. And I'm here to tell you, never give up. You're worth it.